Misdemeanors make up the vast majority of what it is our criminal system does. 80% of our American criminal dockets are misdemeanors. When Americans encounter the criminal justice system, it's going to be largely through the low-level misdemeanor process. It's incredibly important and influential in individual lives and families and communities, and we pay so little attention to it. Considering how much of our criminal system is made up of misdemeanors, we have a startling lack of data about how many cases are filed, what kinds of cases are filed in every state and across the country. I sent records requests to all 50 states in preparation for this book, and I've included all that data in the book. My hope is that it'll generate helpful links and leads and research. But the challenge is, because we don't take misdemeanors seriously, because these low-level courts are low status and low resource, we don't keep very good track of them. And so one of the takeaways from the book is how much more resources we need to devote to finding out just how this low-level criminal system works. I should say it's one of the reasons that journalism here and investigative reporting is so important. Much of what we know about our low-level system has sprung from investigative journalism. Yeah, it's a fiction that misdemeanors are minor. We call them petty, we call them low-level offenses, but they exert an enormous impact on the lives of the people who go through the system. Getting a misdemeanor offense, a low-level offense for common conduct, people can lose their liberty, they can go to jail, they can be stripped of their wealth through fines and fees, they can go into debt, they can ruin their credit, their immigration status can be affected, they can lose their government benefits, their financial aid, they can be evicted, people lose their child custody. The panoply of effects of even a low-level criminal conviction, I think, are far greater than we have really appreciated. And particularly in this era of big data, that criminal conviction, once it is let out of the bag, so to speak, it is almost impossible to put it back. That conviction will dog people for their lives. I think we've all learned from decades of looking at mass incarceration just how racially skewed our criminal system is. We now know that people of color, and African American men in particular, are swept into the system and punished more harshly through the mechanisms of mass incarceration. But it starts before anyone goes to prison. It starts with the low-level misdemeanor system. It starts with stop and frisk, with disproportionate arrest rates for low-level offenses, everything from loitering and trespassing to jaywalking. It starts with disproportionate incarceration rates. Often African Americans have fewer resources and therefore can't afford bail, which puts more pressure on them to plead guilty, which means they are more likely to sustain a misdemeanor conviction and be labeled a criminal for the rest of their lives. The misdemeanor system is that first moment when our criminal system reaches out and marks people of color and African Americans as criminal, and we haven't held it to account. It hasn't received its fair share of blame.